Good evening and welcome to the Gothic Bohemian Salon. This is Julifer. Well, since I've been doing the flapper look lately, I thought that I would talk to you a little bit about the influence of the early 19th century on the look of early Goths. Most specifically, the influence of silent film on early Goth makeup and fashion. It's very apparent when you look at stills from films from the teens and the 20s that people in the early Goth subculture were influenced by this look when they put together their makeup and fashion. Some of the films that you might want to take a look at are ones by F.W. Murnau, like Nosferatu and Faust, or a film called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Actually, that might be by F.W. Murnau as well. Films by a director named d.w.griffith, such as Way Down East, Broken Blossoms, Orphans of the Storm, Intolerance, The Wind, also Siegfried and Kriemhild's Revenge are two wonderful films. I believe they're by Fritz Lang, who also did another great film called Metropolis, which has had several very interesting soundtracks made to it. Mostly when they played silent films in the old theaters, there was a piano player or an organist who played to the film and sometimes had special effect type noises that they were able to do to go with the film. But it was, I think it was mostly improvised music. There weren't particular musical scores that went with the films at all. And that's just a side note. Most of the music that they put with silent films today is not as great as you might want it to be. Another pretty interesting film is Napoleon, which was restored. That's by Abel Gance, I believe, is the name of the director. That was restored in the 80s and was seen by a lot of people in Los Angeles. There was a special screening of it with an orchestra directed by Francis Ford Coppola's brother, I believe. Roman Coppola? I'm not sure. Anyway, most of these films are available on Netflix, believe it or not, or very cheap DVDs that you can find at places like Walgreens, Target, actually Best Buy, or Fry's. Fry's Electronics is a good place to get silent films. Great film is Salome, which was, let's see, I forget the director, but the sets and costumes were done by Rudolph Valentino's wife, Natasha Rambova, who did a lot of costumes and sets for film. Her life story is fascinating, and there's a wonderful book called Mrs. Valentino, I believe, or no, Madame Valentino, that's the name of it. An incredible book all about her and her life. After Rudolph Valentino died, she went on to become an amateur Egyptologist and went on digs in Egypt and translated hieroglyphs. She was a fascinating woman. Anyway, these films are wonderful and beautiful to look at. They're from a different time. You have to be a little bit patient with them. They're not like films today. They're not fast-paced, and most of them aren't going to be in color, though some films were hand-colored. An interesting film that was made recently about that era is a film called Hugo, which is a fantastic little film, which I believe was done by Steven Spielberg. And it's a very sweet film about the filmmaker Georges Méliès, who is best known for The Trip to the Moon. You may have seen a little short clip of a little spaceship crashing into the moon's eye, and the moon grimacing. That's Georges Méliès's film. Hugo is a wonderful little film about Georges Méliès and what happened to him, because he kind of disappeared. He made hundreds of films and then kind of just disappeared off the face of the planet. If you can get to see any of his films, they're fantastical, wondrous films. Anyway, I wanted to just encourage you to introduce yourself to the magic and wonder of silent film. So please have a look. Like I said, try Netflix or Fry's, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as I have. There's so many different ones. I keep remembering ones to recommend to you. I was just thinking of The Thief of Baghdad, actually, and actually anything with Douglas Fairbanks is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me in the Gothic Bohemian Salon, and remember, embrace the darkness. Good night.